I think I've been like very afraid of using AI for a long time.
There is a prediction that AI in media and entertainment will be worth $78 billion by 2030. Ironically, a lot of people think everything's AI now, where it's not. There's tech and there's AI and there's automation. There's a lot of nuance to those statements, right?
It's really helped us streamline our processes and actually allow us to concentrate on doing the other stuff that matters the most.
Because it's the data that we train the AI on to then build out more content for them. Hi, welcome back for another episode of Podcast Foundry. We're here with Pri again. Stuck with you.
Stuck with me, man.
Well, no, we do this together.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about probably the most current affairs situation, right? So AI is a massive conversation point generally in the world. And yes, we've been quite public about how we're leveraging it, or more so that we are leveraging it, but maybe not so much in the details. So this episode is kind of twofold. Firstly, what we use AI to do, and how we're kind of implementing it in our workflow and where it fits and where it doesn't. And the other part is... And probably the biggest question we'll always get is, but I could just do that with AI. And I don't disagree, but I think there's a conversation to be had in regards to, can it actually do what we're doing as a service in terms of podcasting, and to what level and where we envisage the issues are, and partially why you should do podcasting. Of course, it's a little bit salesy, but at the same time, it's good to just have that open conversation. I know that. Look, I'm very much for AI in the sense of I know how valuable it can be, but I also believe there's a lot of limitations. And I know you're coming at it from a much more I would say fearful, maybe.
Definitely, 100%. Yeah.
Side of it. And look, there are already jobs that are getting culled because of replacement of simple service solutions, right? Like customer service is one where people are like, no, but it's human. It's like, well, no, actually it's not. They're told to follow a script. I could tell a bot to follow a script. So it'll be interesting to see where that lands between the two of us, let alone publicly.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I said, opening, I was going to say, I'm just straight off the bat, I'm just saying, I don't like AI.
But you're saying that, and we're leveraging it.
This is the point. Yeah, we use it.
Yeah.
I think I've been very afraid of using AI for a long time. Not necessarily. Obviously, you can go into the deep parts of it of
the nefarious.
The nefarious side of it. But I don't necessarily mean that stuff. I think
fearful because of how it could replace you.
No, because I feel like there's a lot of things that it can't replace. Like AI doesn't understand. It's good at it, but it's not perfect at understanding tone or emotion. And I think that's what we're really good at. Obviously, as humans, we're good at, but as what we do in our line of work, where we're good at understanding that and bringing those emotions out into the work that we produce, which AI can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like we're coming to another. They call it the singularity, right? Where there's going to be a massive change. Yeah, and historically, this has happened. When cars came and horses left. Right, that was a singularity moment where, not a singularity, but a massive shift. Or when the mobile phone, or more so the smartphone, was introduced, and the first iPhone came out, and everyone's like, "What? This changes everything." Yeah. That a device is as powerful as your home computer, and that you can do all. And if you look at the world we live in today, everything is built mobile first. So we're just coming to another moment in time. But I think it's much more impactful on those that aren't involved in it. So, for example, with a phone, the impact was had on those that had a phone or a smartphone, but it didn't impact as much those other people until they were forced into it. Yeah. So, I remember when my mum had a mobile phone, and then it was we got her an iPhone, her first iPhone. And yes, she spends way too much time on WhatsApp. But it is now the norm, right? Everyone had to have it. And look, there's already, psychologically, it kind of social media and smartphones are truly affecting. We've both got kids. And it does worry me about how we implement that into our daughters' lives. Like, how is that going to work?
Yeah.
But I'm saying there's going to be moments in our life or in history where everything changes.
Yeah.
And we've got to think about a different way.
Yeah.
But hey ho.
Yeah.
That's like, we can't predict what happens when AI is smart enough to not need human input. I don't think it's that far away.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, artificial general intelligence is not miles away. Arguably, it's already somewhat there. But do I believe that, you know, a very famous film in 2001 will happen? Yeah, but I don't think we're silly enough to allow it to happen.
What film?
Artificial intelligence.
Oh, okay.
The one with Will Smith. Have you not watched it?
No.
Have you never watched AI? Oh, God.
Is that the one with... There's loads of robots in a line.
Yeah.
In the one scene, and then one comes alive and then starts killing everyone.
Yeah, there's a bit more nuance to that film, but generally, it was mainly a blockbustery, like Will Smith, like action film. So let's do this. I think, well, a bit of statistics, right? So right now, from a study that we found, 30% of podcasters are using AI tools, which is quite a large number. I mean, actually, recently I was listening to a Diary of a CEO emergency debate. Great format, like very clearly well-spoken people that are industry leaders talking about how, you know, what could be the future of AI. But even in that, Stephen Bartlett says, we've already tried it. Like, we're using it on a daily basis to help with production, to get stuff out quicker, faster, more efficiently.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen. So like editing, transcripting, baselines are like really good. And then obviously we talk about content repurposing, but there are already tools out there, even though like the online video editors, the CapCuts, etc., that are doing it. They're using AI to find the best bits of a contextual piece of transcript.
Yeah.
And it does it, right? Like, it does it without thinking about it. So there is a prediction that AI in media and entertainment will be worth $78 billion by 2030. And I can see it already happening.
Yeah.
Like when you actually look at the tools, like Descript, I think their ARR is like $47 million.
Wow.
Which is incredible.
That's insane. Yeah.
And that's like one of the leaders in terms of video side. So I don't envisage that number being that wild.
Yeah.
But let's do this. Let's talk through how we use it.
Yeah.
So because you deal with more of the production side, why don't we go from like concept through to edit? Because then I kind of take the reins afterwards in it. So why don't you go through what we're using to help get a client and let's base this on an episode as opposed to anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. So look, I've been afraid of using AI, but I've seen so many benefits from using it. And it's not like, I know you mentioned that, am I afraid of it because it's take our jobs over? It's not that. What I've seen from using it is it's really helped us streamline our processes and actually allow us to concentrate on doing the other stuff that matters the most.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. So let's take this episode, or it could be a client episode. But when coming up with a concept, you can use AI. Obviously, it does very like ChatGPT to come up with a concept. It does very much depend on the prompt and how well you are prompting ChatGPT to get you the result. But it does streamline that process. It does all the research for you. So, for example, if we're looking at this episode, okay, Podcast Foundry, we need a couple of episodes for our Podcast Foundry podcast. Can you, rather than just saying, oh, can you give us some ideas to things to talk about? It will give you a bunch of ideas. But let's just take that. It's giving us a bunch of ideas, and then you might find a couple that you like. You then prompt it further to give us like a whole episode and script. However, at that point, whilst it does give you some good stuff, I always then, because I don't necessarily trust AI completely, I do feel like it does give like dud figures, and even that one that you gave us earlier, 30%, was it 30% of podcasts use AI tools? that was something that was obviously pulled into AI. I used AI to find that, but I did go and do my own research and stuff just to validate that. But it cut out a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like building this episode, which would have taken maybe a couple of hours at least. It took maybe 45 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's including my own research and stuff into that as well.
Yeah.
So it's cut out a lot of time. Now let's take the production. Okay, cool. We've got this episode all mapped out. We know what we're going to talk about. We know like each area that we're going to speak about now. Comes to production. So we've got all these cameras here. Like AI can't necessarily replace this, right?
No, not yet.
We've got this. No, not yet.
I mean, it'll be mad though.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff that you can do, but at the moment we can't replace this. So the production time, it is what it is. Like we'll sit here for this half an hour episode.
Yeah.
And that is what it is. Now, before using AI or automation tools, if I now take this into post-production, I am looking at maybe half a day to edit this episode, get the color grading done, get the audio mastered correctly, syncing. Like there's all this stuff. It takes a lot of time. How we're using AI or automation almost in our post-production process now is this episode, I will put it into our like Premiere Pro or DaVinci or whatever you happen to be. We use Premiere Pro. I'll put it into Premiere Pro. There's a sync function on there for audio. So that syncs automatically. Now we use a tool called Autopod, which I guess you mentioned it. It's not AI. It's more of an automation tool that uses.
It's tech.
It's tech. Yeah. But now this episode, which like I said, would have taken me half a day to do, like cut, multicam, do all that stuff, is now being done in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I'm matching the audio to the cameras.
Yeah.
And then just pressing a button and it will cut it all. So that this episode now will be done in 15 minutes. Now there is AI or certain tools that you can use to pick out clips and whatnot, and we do that. However, at that point, when I'm picking out clips, I'll go through the transcript, which again is AI, which I'll then look through to be like, okay, this bit we need to pull out because this was really interesting. I'll do that manually just because we can process it through AI, but I feel like AI just doesn't understand emotion and context very well. I just trust my intuition.
You're still... Once, like everything you've done to that point is what I would regard as like just mundane tasks, right? 100%. Syncing, color grading, like yes, there's creative decisions, but simultaneously like multicamming an episode so it knows that I'm talking and therefore pick X camera is quite mathematical, right? It's not a creative decision. It's what is appropriate at that given moment.
Correct.
After that point, you are what we would regard as editing, true editing, right? So you're going through what was said and as a human deciding whether it should be retained or removed.
Correct, yeah.
That's true editing, right?
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I don't think we could have put that transcript through AI and said, get rid of the bump, right? Like, of course it can, but it is what you said. It doesn't understand. I could be talking maybe a little bit waffly, right? It's podcasting. It's allowed. But it doesn't understand that.
It doesn't understand that. Exactly.
So, and it doesn't understand that that pause or thought moment is valuable. So I think I agree with you. Like that's where it can't do what most people think it can.
Yeah, because it's very, just taking that as an example, but when there are pauses and like pause for thought, sometimes that's really powerful in a conversation. Whereas AI will be like, "Oh, do you want me to cut out the pauses?" And it'll just cut that out, and then all of a sudden you just lost that bit. And that's where you actually really do connect with your audience because they're like, he's thinking about it. So yeah, that you're correct. That's where the real editing does take place. But what using these tools have allowed us to do is cut out doing that mundane stuff and actually concentrate on the stuff that's really real, like the stuff that's going to actually have impact on your business. Or
as in, there are other tools that we use that are fundamentally tech, and there is a kind of, ironically, a lot of people think everything's AI now, where it's not. There's tech and there's AI and there's automation. There's a lot of nuance to those statements, right? So it's like, even when we come down to audio, like there are tools we use to clean up audio. I'm trained as a sound engineer, but I could fundamentally say that you press a button and it will take this mic, which is a good mic, recorded well, and still make it sound better without having the skill set, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to understand how an EQ works or how compression works.
Yeah.
You press a button and it does it well. But I find it really interesting because I was thinking about this before, actually. If anyone's ever used Lightroom, right? Now, Lightroom is a photo editor, like takes raw photos and can export them as JPEGs through color grading, fundamentally color grading. And ever since I can remember, I've used Lightroom for over 10 years, there has been a button at the very top that says auto. Have you ever pressed that button?
No.
Yeah, because it's rubbish. Because what it does is makes the perfect color balance so that all colors are, and light is in the spectrum of
I've tried it with video and I don't like it.
Yeah, but it's exactly the same, right? Is that when we shoot, we might shoot in a style that might be more high key or like very dropped off and like harsh shadows, because that is what that needs. It doesn't understand that. It goes, no, everything equal, please. Like, and it's not AI, it's tech.
Yeah.
But it's just proof that perfect does not mean perfect. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I agree.
Like, and I think the same would be said about an AI reading a transcript. It will always strive for perfect as it is right now. Like we've tried it, but perfect isn't always perfect.
Yeah. I think 100% agreed. Because we now use this tool with our clients where obviously once a podcast is done, we put it through the tool that you built.
Yeah.
That scrapes that whole thing, it transcribes it and it picks out quotes.
Yeah.
Which can then be, which AI then puts that into like a quote generator, and then that can be posted on socials and stuff, which again, that takes out a lot of time, but that's sort of heavily dependent on your prompting and how well you've prompted. We've noticed that it's not always perfect. So it always needs that human eye over it. Just be like,
well, I think once we built that, we both looked at it and I went, it's good, but when you're going through that edit process, you've already picked out half a dozen.
Yeah.
And are they the same or are they not? And there was a little bit of crossover.
Yeah.
But arguably a lot of things that you saw value in because you understood context to it seeing value in. Because it based it on what it deemed would be viral or thought-provoking or educational. But it doesn't really understand where that is in that world. So I built a tool using a bunch and, talking about distribution and kind of repurposing content. We use things like make.com, ChatGPT and Airtable. There's a whole stack of like no code stack building, right? Like, and it's super powerful, but it's only as powerful as the system you build with it. In itself, it's not. It's just an ability to build something else. So the tool that you were referencing actually allows us to take it, but not only create transcripts, which is fundamentally the easiest bit, and we use ChatGPT's Whisper for that, but also create an overview document. And that document's actually like a summary of the episode. And fundamentally, it's not for human consumption. It's more so that we can build the knowledge base of a client. So we can say this client has got 12 episodes here and here is an overview. So it has the transcript, but it also has an overview. And all of that information gives it context of what they've spoken about historically and in that episode. And that's really valuable because it's the data that we train the AI on to then build out more content for them. So of course, clips and shorts that you build when you're doing the edit, that's manual. Like we're not using some AI tool to say, take this point to this point, chip it out and put in a start and an end. No, we do that ourselves because we are making those decisions. But when we talk about regurgitated content in terms of a blog post or a LinkedIn article or a thought leadership piece, those bits can be dealt with through this because fundamentally the content, this half an hour is setting a precedence of data or information about how we think Podcast Foundry's position is on X or Y. And that can be applied to any client. And once that's in written form, then the agents that I build will use that data to then create the secondary content. And as long as they stay within the guides of that, and we define that to them in prompt, then I could write a blog post off this episode without either of us touching a keyboard. Well, apart from building the tool, without either of us touching a keyboard.
Yeah, but that's the output's always going to be dependent on the quality of the data that you input. Right?
Yeah, but the difference is that the quality of data is focused very much on this conversation.
Yeah. Fine.
So it's based off this conversation and the other podcast conversations we've had to therefore create a blog post in our style with our thoughts from where we come from. And we can limit its reach to say, don't go looking on the internet and deciding what you want to write about. No, it's in here.
Yeah.
Make it from this.
Yeah.
And respectfully, we're talking about hours saved then. And the beauty of AI, and you alluded to it, is not that it replaces or can do things that we couldn't do. It means that two things: we can either do it faster or we can do it cheaper. Because if you weren't to do the multicam and sync, you could do it, or a junior could do it. It's not a complicated process and can be trained. But it's time that would then have to be recharged. Like, it would have to go against the bottom line of the cost of this. And the only reason I believe that we've got the cost where we are, well, is twofold. One is we're experienced in building podcasts. We could do this with our eyes closed, respectfully. Yeah. Like, setting this up took us 15 minutes and it would easily be put anywhere in the country. Like, once we're there, 15, 20 minutes, we'll work out the light, we'll work out the sound, get cameras up and we're rolling.
Experience, yeah.
That's experience. And two is the tech and tools we build along the way that mean that we're not doing laborious or grunt tasks, right? Correct. And that's not to disrespect them, but they are. They're like, when we're syncing 13 hours of footage, it used to be a manual exercise. Yes, there are tech tools that can allow us to sync them, looking at audio and trying to work out where they fit with each other. It's like a big jigsaw. But if they don't work, we're sitting there.
Yeah.
A human is doing it. And the fact is, if that time can be saved, then that's why things fundamentally get cheaper.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the point.
Where have you seen now, like, obviously we're using AI in like post-production and doing all that stuff. Where have you seen now that your time is being spent instead?
So, twofold. AI is moving so rapidly that tools can be iterated even more. So where in history we would build an app that we would kind of maintain, but effectively it was good for a few years, now it's like, oh, but I replace X on that app. For example, like, they've just released the new GPT, which is much more advanced, much more compute power, which means the responses are even stronger. And so we're constantly changing it, and it's arguably a full-time job to keep that going. And secondly, it's much more in review. So where in the past, myself and both of us would be sitting there writing out briefs or writing out like show notes, etc., based on our understanding, and we could get copywriters to do it, but we like to own a lot of that process because we want to be close to it. Now those things we don't need to do. And I know this sounds as simple as it sounds, and honestly, I highly recommend it. We have client meetings or in-house meetings, and we use an app called Fathom.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Fathom is basically, it transcripts your meeting. It's an extra person that's in your meeting that is a note taker. And it's great at that. But transcripting a meeting is great. But if you'll sit that for an hour, you're not going to sit through and read that transcript. No. So then it will automatically create like an overview of that meeting. But moreover, I've got a text field where I can go, did we discuss X? Yeah. What was the outcomes? Yeah. Like, or what was my task to do in this meeting? And instead of sitting in that meeting and thinking about, oh God, I've got to do this and make notes and not be present, I'm present.
Yeah.
I'm in the meeting.
Well, it's like I went on there the other day just to figure out like what a client, what they specifically wanted as the outcome, and really just reminding myself and trying to understand it deeper. And I was able to go to it and kind of ask it that question, and I was not able just to watch that again, but it gave a summary of like what exactly the client was looking for.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but it's within reason, right?
Yeah,
that's the point. Is that we're never going to say we didn't go to Fathom and say write me an email to the client with the resolution of what they've asked for.
Yeah.
And then copy and paste it and send it. Like, respectfully, we haven't done that.
Yeah.
But there is potentially an eventuality where that is the case. However, we don't want to be in that one yet. Like, there's very clear touch points where we put human interaction in. And that to me is really important. Really, really important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think, like, in terms of how we implement AI, yes, especially on the back end of it. So out comes a podcast and a bunch of shorts. But with those shorts, hashtag generation, keyword generation, even like YouTube copy generation, a lot of that we will use AI to help with, but we will then review that. It's not just do it and send it. It's do it, review it and send it.
Yeah.
Because there is going to be things wrong.
Yeah.
And they might not get it right. But it does save hours.
Yeah, but it saves time, which also like it allows us to pass on that cost saving to our clients as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like we're saving hours of time not doing this stuff. Where, like I said, we can now concentrate on the stuff that really matters.
Yeah.
And where we're not, if we were to do this without any AI or without any automation, I'm pretty sure that what we'd have to charge this out as would be like
double,
3-4 times the amount of time it's going to take. Even like I said, using Autopod where it cuts out, that's a lot. That's half a day.
Yeah, if we're doing 4 episodes a month, that's an extra 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
That we're unaccounted for.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think it's, we're able to pass that cost saving on, which is a big thing.
Well, and then we go on to really the other side of this conversation, which is, well, AI can do all of this. Why can't it just? Why do I bother with a podcast, right? Like, why should I bother? Like, why should I bother even generating when fundamentally it's getting better, and it's getting better by the day? Like, it's ridiculous. All of the LLMs are mind-blowing, and now there are apps which allow anyone to basically build micro apps for themselves. It's mental. So why should I bother? And like, we've had it recently where someone's like, why should I bother? Like, I know that I'm capable, and I'm not a developer, let's be clear, right? Like, I'm not come from a code background, but I'm quite systematic with how I do things. And I know right now, if I wanted to, I could take this clip of me and turn it into an AI generated video of me with my voice, and then just feed it scripts and it can talk and look like me and sound like me and have the same cadence as me. Like, I would argue that anyone that knew me might go, something's off, but anyone that didn't wouldn't even question it. But the fact is where does it get that data from, right? I'm still the one writing the script. So how does it find data to talk like me and act like me and be like me? Where, like, what are we giving it? What are we feeding it? And that's fundamentally where my issue is with data sets and the way AI could operate. There are many, many marketing companies that will use AI to do a lot of work. We've done it in my other business where it's like, it's easy once you've got it, but it needs a knowledge base that's of value.
Yeah.
And the best way to inject a knowledge base is to give it either written content, so, company brochures, websites, etc. But that doesn't invoke what's happening at that given moment in time.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
That's why everyone should do a podcast.
Yeah, basically. No, but we joke about it. But actually, what better way is there to get business leaders, thought leaders, founders, whatever business you may be in, if you are steering that ship, right, you're busy, your schedule's busy. If I got half an hour of your time, I guarantee 99.9% of people would not be able to write down the thoughts that they had that they could speak about in the same half an hour.
Exactly. That's why it's so powerful.
So that, and I guess why we position Podcast Foundry this way is that fact. As much as the podcast is important, it's not actually the core outcome. using podcasts to raise awareness, build these clips, which is where we're going to get the like new attrition from, grow the community, but then using AI to give them ancillary ways of accessing it. So some people don't like podcasts. They don't like listening to stuff, but they're happy to read it. Well, they can read it.
They can read it now. Yeah.
Like, and they might prefer seeing some sort of carousel presentation of the keynotes that have come out of it. Well, actually, AI can just do that for us.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we can define what it looks and feels like. But fundamentally, that's time saved. If I basically turned around and took this podcast and said, all right, let's take 10 key moments from it. I'm talking about humans to do it. 10 key moments. So as a producer, you can go, right, here's the 10 key moments or statement pieces. And then I give that to a graphic designer. And then I give it to a copywriter to write caption or a post about it. Before you know it, you're in for multiple people for a few hours each.
Yeah.
And that's before it's posted. And now you could sit there and do all of those roles with AI support and using them as tasks, not overriding that.
Yeah.
And that's done.
Yeah.
And that's where the value lies. So, you know, as much as I want to believe that there's going to be a moment in time, and look, just to touch on this, I know like there's things like Google have got Notebook LLM, which is their kind of LLM solution, and it's very, very powerful. And you could drop in a PDF and it will spit out a half an hour podcast. It's very Americanized. Like it's a lady and a woman talking about what's in that document. Mate, it's so far from what needs to be.
Yeah.
It's not real. Like it was slightly commercial, like going, oh, and you know, check out this. They can do X, Y, and Z in this price model. And you're like, that's not how you'd sell that service, right?
Yeah.
So I know it's if that, and that's 6 months ago, it's getting more advanced. But two people communicating and emotionally connecting is a threshold too far for AI. Like we've gone through the industrial revolution, we've gone through the digital revolution. Now we're into a space of, and each time we've taken something away from humanity, right? This is something that I heard on that Diary of a CEO emergency debate. It's like each time we've taken something away from humanity. Like in the industrial revolution, people needed to like manually work less. They were less physical in their life, right? Now we sit at desks and tell machines what to do, like build a car or plow a field, right? Farmers used to have 200 people working the land, and then this guy turned up with a tractor, done, right? 200 people out of work, but they had to be less physical. Now we go through this, we went through the digital revolution where arguably we removed people's ability of community. Is that people spent all this time on Facebook going, yeah, but I'm social. Well, you're not. There's a difference between two people sitting like this, face to face, and me DMing you or WhatsApping you. Nuance is everything in those conversations. So I'd say, my opinion, we pulled community. And now with AI, arguably the creative thoughts, that free, I guess the laborious task is removed. I don't know if the analogy works as well, but I'm saying like people don't need to think about mundane work, but they can drive creative direction. And that changes the way you can think about it. And, you know, going back to the kids, like what are they going to get taught in school that is valuable to that world? Because it's an unknown world.
Yeah.
And you might want to cut all of that out.
No, it's good stuff though. This is why you need your own segment, bro.
No, we're not doing that.
It's so good. No, I think I guess I kind of want to just make the point that like why it bothers me, not bothers me, but why I'm fearful of it and I don't like it so much is because like everyone's like, oh yeah, AI can do that, but AI can't have a real conversation like this. Like
it can, but it's very synthetic. That's the point. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like people are just going to feel lonely eventually, and like businesses.
But they already do. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah,
they already do.
Yeah,
and maybe why there has been this surge in community, right? Like, if you look at any major, well, the creator economy period, anyone in the creator economy, they're all moving towards community generation. And I argue this question, which is why have, in the last 3 to 5 years, streamers become so big? Right? The logic of a stream. And it's not because of their content, it's because people feel part of a community.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right? Like, and yes, people are now leveraging that commercially. If someone's got 200,000 active viewers on a stream, they are unbelievably valuable because people don't feel part of a community. How many email newsletters do you get right now?
Oh, tons.
Yeah, and how many do you read? None, right?
Yeah.
No, zero.
Yeah.
So it's the evolution of that.
Yeah.
Because and it boils down to a simple thing with streams, especially with like the likes of Twitch and YouTube Live and whatever, is that people can interact. Now with podcasting, it's a slightly different format. Now this could be live. There's nothing stopping this from being live, barring an extra computer and a bit of tech. No problem.
Yeah.
But what we can do with this is control a conversation between two people, and it doesn't have to be two people in the same business. Like in the future, we want to bring in other people that we look up to, potentially clients, potentially other parts of the team, to kind of talk about more nuances in this conversation in all of Podcast Foundry. But it means that we can build community through what we're talking about and whether people align with it. And the best community is that aligns, right? Like, hopefully anyone watching this doesn't think we're dicks. Hopefully. And if they don't, but my point is that we can build that. We're growing our community. Why are we doing this? Is to literally build our community.
Yeah.
And part of it's to do with how do we leverage AI, or what is our workflow that gets us, from point A to point B. They're all educational pieces, right? So I think AI will never be able to create community independently. Because it involves people doing the community building, right?
Yeah.
It can't, don't get me wrong, it can nefariously trick us into building a community, but I don't think that's plausible.
No.
Not yet, anyway. No. I don't know where I went. I went off on one.
This is why it's so important, though, to have these conversations. I think because it doesn't. I know we're trying to streamline it a little bit, but it's really important that you've picked up on a lot of that stuff, because this is what podcast does really well. Actually, if you do podcasting really well, that's what it will give you. That it will help you build a community, and you'll have the right listeners, the right people coming to you, the right people buying from you. I think this is why we really are pushing podcasting so much.
Yeah. I agree. I think there's the technical of building up a knowledge base and data set. But the fact is this interaction, unscripted, is just us talking, winging it, but not in a negative way. It's basically just, it allows people to understand how we think about things. Even in this conversation, I think there's been times when I've gone, oh, but actually, what if?
There we go. Yeah, exactly.
Let me think about that again. Yeah. I will never be able to be as learned as AI, right? ChatGPT's read everything in the world. Let's just assume that, right? I've not even read 1%, 0.5% of everything in the world. So it's very learned. But the most learned peoples, are they the best community builders? Are they the ones that we want to lead the world? No. No one said that. So it'll be interesting to see what the future holds.
Yeah.
I know right now our leveraging of tech and AI is very focused on specific tasks. And that in conjunction with our experience and knowledge of production and marketing has led us to a point where we can give fundamentally a very valuable service at a respectfully reasonable rate. Because 10 years ago, someone asked me to do a podcast, it would cost more than we're charging now, definitely. Because the kit was more expensive, the lights were more expensive, the crew was more expensive, and the post-production would have taken 10 times as long. Because just the nature of the world we live in. Yeah. So hopefully it will keep allowing us to maintaining a fair value rate and providing more and more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And continually, if the growth of AI continues the way I think it will, that will happen until we get to a point when basically we have these tech super overlords and we become batteries like in the Matrix.
Mm.
And so be it. Like, I can't predict that. Let's see.
Yeah. We could do a podcast then as well about that.
Or they'll do a podcast about us. Who knows?
Yeah, it's true.
No, but to take it away from the crazy scientific sci-fi film, right now we are leveraging it to make us more efficient, and to supercharge our productivity, and that shouldn't be scoffed at.
No, definitely not.
That's serious, and there's a cost to it. The compute cost, all of these things that we're using are tools that we're paying for, right? But because we're using it across multiple clients, it's actually relatively negligible. Yeah. So I think that what we're doing with it, I know you've kind of come round a little bit to going, okay, I get it.
Yeah. I did. This conversation has helped, to be fair. Saying stuff out loud and hearing stuff out loud.
Yeah.
I know we have the conversation, but now it's being almost in a controlled environment. I feel it's not so much of a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. No. And when people go, yeah, but AI can do that. Yeah, it can. But I just don't think it will do it with the same understanding. Yeah. You know what? Let's set this, right? This episode's in 2025. Hopefully, this time next year, let's see what happens. And let's say that by that time, we'll keep doing this and we will create content out of it. And simultaneously, someone will come up with a fully AI generated, but there already exist influencer, etc., but podcast style between now and then. Let's see what happens. I'm confident that it will happen, but will never land as well. It will feel synthetic. Yeah. And for that, I don't see how that wins in that race. No. And there's a future of things that we want to look at in terms of you suggested something once which was about localization. Yeah. I think that's a genius idea. The fact is AI can translate easily. Whisper can take any piece of text and convert it into a different language. If we could do that and on the fly dub all of an episode of a podcast to a Spanish, Hindi.
Commercially, it's such a great. You can break into any market.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, we could talk about job displacement, but the fact is, if that's going to take AI 3 minutes versus me paying a translator for I don't know what it would be, call it a 30-minute. It's probably about $30 per minute. So I'm paying £900 or dollars to translate the same thing that I could do on AI in 15 minutes. Now, come on. Yeah. It's mental. Yeah. It's just supercharging us. Anyway, waffled.
Yeah. Cool. Let's call it there then.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you everybody for listening to today's podcast. If you are looking to start a podcast or you are doing a podcast and you want to do it better, then give us a shout.
Bye.